Okay, I'm going to go through a torso tutorial real quick. Torsos are generally a little bit difficult because most people start with the boxes, but they never really change the shape of the box. Now, for startup, all I've done is pretty much taken a 2 by 2 box, and it's 10 by 10 by 20 high. Um, and I cut it in half and I instance the other side so that when one side does one thing, the other side does the other. Okay, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go with top down view and I'm going to grab these vertices and I'm going to pull them in together. Okay, now my general torso is not this thick, so you're probably going to manipulate the back a little bit more, so on and so forth, and give it a little bit more torso like that. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to do. It looks like I didn't grab this vertex here the last time, so I'm just going to kind of squeeze it in general proportion. Same thing with this one over here. Um, so what I'm going to do is, with this, the first thing that I'm going to do is get that rounded out, okay? And show you real quickly, I'm going to just grab this, and I'm going to go here down to my smoothing groups, and I'm going to just do a 180 auto smooth so that we get this all kind of set to go. All right. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the geometry right here, and I'm going to kind of swoop this in to kind of curve this in like that. Okay, so we got upper torso, lower torso. Okay, so this is more the hip area, this is the upper chest area. Being the upper chest, I'm going to raise this up here like so and possibly move it over. Now, a male torso is going to have a bigger upper chest, a female torso is going to have a bigger lower torso or lower waist. Okay, so this is going to be male to start out with. Okay, now the first thing that you need to do is we're going to raise these top two vertices up here, and that's going to give us a kind of the shoulder area. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting in some features. Okay, now when doing this, don't use quick slice. You can use connect, that works well. There's a number of other tools, but the first cut that I make in there, I'm actually going to do an edge loop. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and move this upward, and I'm going to move this one upward. Okay, now what this gives us is this gives us the upper pectoral muscles, and it gives us the start of the abdomen. I screwed that one up. Alright, so I'm going to move this up here. So there gives us our basic chest layout. Alright, now the edge loop can come up here, over here, and then go like so. The other thing we're going to do is I'm going to go to edge mode real quick here and ring this. It should have ringed it all the way around. And I'm just going to right click and say connect. Connect. Okay, this gives us a little bit more geometry to play with. Right? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually kind of start manipulating said geometry. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down a little bit, and that's going to create the shoulder, and it's going to create the quads, I believe it is. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to move it down, and that's going to give us the start of the pectoral muscles. And then this one in back is going to be moved down a little bit, and that's going to be our shoulder blades, like so. And then what we're going to do is, one more thing I usually do, I got focused on the upper chest, is I also angle the top part here, like so. Okay. Now, the reason I angle this top part here like so is because what I'm doing is actually starting the grooves for the waist, okay, for the leg attachments, okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do after that is I'm going to really quickly cut in. Now, when I'm cutting, notice I didn't attach that one to anything at this point in time. And I'm going to do the same thing for the back one real quick. It's going to come down. so. And I'm going to now cut that in there. Now, this is what's known as an edge loop. Now, it may not seem like much right now because it doesn't look like much, but what happens when I take this and pull that out? Now my chest is starting to form, okay? Then up here, I can take these two and start forming the upper torso. Okay. Alright, this one is going to pull out for the upper back. And this is going to pull out for now for the upper back. Like so. Alright, now that's going to give us our quad muscles right there. And as you can see, you have now a gap. We can actually delete this here. These two polygons right there, that's where we're going to put our arms. Okay, so you already have your upper torso for your arms. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly ring this, and I'm going to add a connect in there again. Now that's going to give us our geometry that we need for the torso. Okay, so then what we're going to do here is I'm going to just really quickly kind of push this back here. So that's going to give our upper torso. And remember to keep it rounded. I'm going to maybe, let's see here, I think that looks good. Like so. Okay, now here's where you kind of have to move this around. You know, you see some of the more kind of twisted geometry, and you kind of want to line that up so that it starts giving you the shape that you need. Okay, so that pulls out the rib cage. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to start working on creating a little bit more geometry for the leg, or for the upper torso here. So I'm going to go into this, and I'm going to ring this real quick, and again, go back to connect. I'm going to connect that, and then I'm going to start taking this geometry and pulling it back, like so. So now I have the start of the buttocks, like so. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually need more geometry here. So I'm going to actually grab this, I'm going to ring it, make sure it's all the way through, and I'm going to do another connect. Okay, and remember when I was talking about modeling the head, that I said that you always want to make sure that you model one thing and or you cut one thing and then you manipulate that one thing. Okay, same thing with the body. Cut one thing and manipulate that one thing. Okay, the leg looks relatively good. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go into polygon mode, and I'm going to delete these 4 polygons for the leg. Delete. Okay, so now I have my hole for my leg. Okay, after this point in time, it's pretty much just shaping the mesh. Okay, a lot of it, is adding more geometry where you want more detail. Like here, I'm going to go in and I can pull this out, and you see now the butt kind of starts appearing a little bit more. I'm going to also go in and add another ring around here, and manipulate that section right there. This right here, I would pull down like so, and that's going to give me essentially the ring for the collarbone. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this upward a little bit, and that's going to give me a little bit more of the shoulder blades. In fact, if I want, I can probably pull this polygon out right here. Probably pull that polygon out just a hair, like so. All right, now this is really fast and really quick and dirty, but you're getting the general shape really fast. Okay, then it's really down to kind of forming what you want, putting on what you need. Now I'm going to go ring this real quick here, and I'm going to connect again, and this time though I'm going to go in here with some polygons, move this inward. I'm going to grab this, just kind of pull it inward. See all these straight lines? You never want to have directly straight lines. I don't want to look at it and go, oh, that's a straight line, any direction. Okay, you always want that vertex to count for something. Okay, I'd probably go in here and tweak this a little bit and start, pushing and pulling and manipulating said geometry. Okay. Now, once you're done with that, like I said, I'd have a ring right in here, and a really quick way to do this ring is to do something called an inset, and I'm going to inset that in a little bit, and then the next thing I'm going to do is take these two edges that it created over here, delete that, and then take this edge and kind of just pull it together, okay? And then eventually what you're going to do is you're going to get a nice ring in there. So now that ring right here is going to give me the information that I need for the collarbone. Alright, and so that's going to be that, and then this can be kind of pulled up a little bit. And then eventually I'm going to have enough geometry in here, which I probably can add, oops, I don't know what happened there. I could probably add here. I'm going to just bring that in there and connect for some more geometry in there, and I'm going to ring that in there and connect for some more geometry in there. Okay, and that's going to give me the information that I need to start popping my head in right there. In fact, I'll just extrude this up, yay, and then delete and delete. Okay, and that's the base start of my neck. Now, of course, your neck is not square, so thus you need to go in and start pulling out things and rounding them out so that it fits what your character needs to have accomplished. Okay, and now this is just the base start of it. Okay, of course, I would go into the chest and ring the chest a little bit and connect that so that you can take this and pull that out. Okay, and I don't think this would pull out that much, so I'm going to pull that one back in. Alright, and then again, notice how square and flat this stuff is right here. So I'm going to just grab in there, go loop, pull that up. Same thing here, grab a loop. Oops, nope, that's ring. Loop, and pull that up, like so. And as you can see, I'm slowly forming in my mesh, okay? You can put in your rib cage a little bit more definition there. You can put in your chest a little bit more definition there. That type of thing. Your arm is not going to actually connect up here as much, so I'm going to show you a real quick trick. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to connect that, and I'm going to grab this and connect this real quick here. Alright, and then while this is connected, I should have actually just rounded this out a little bit. Loop this one, round that out a little bit. Okay, now as you notice, what's going to happen is you're going to start wanting to pull geometry back. Alright, so I'm going to connect these two. Now that may seem a little bit odd, but the reason I'm doing that is because that now tightens up the hole, alright, that I'm going to put my mesh in. Still gives me the four-sided polys, still gives me all that information. And it's really based on how you prefer modeling, okay? You can go in here and you can, we can ring this up and we can connect this and move it just out a hair and grab minus this and then just pull this in a hair. So as you can see, I'm starting to round out that body, okay? Now, with the I'm getting close to 15 here, so I'm gonna stop this tutorial in a second. but I just wanted to show you on the offside that if you do want to create breasts, all right, female character, remember we did a bigger upper torso than a lower torso. I'm going to just unhide all right. So over here, here's an older model that I've accomplished. Now I use the same technique as this as the elf. Okay. Now if you take a look in here, the big thing with the breast is I use a circle, about a half circle. I attach it, and then I start cutting out the shape. Now remember, it's a teardrop shape or a comma. Okay. So it's the breast, and it's attached to the pectoral muscles that flow up into the character. All right. So that is, I'm going to just kind of flow you around so you can see how the torso, there we go. See how the torso kind of should look. The back on this character is a little bit flat, but the butt looks okay, and then the shoulders look good. But that right there, you see the edge looping that you see in there that pull out the shoulders, the edge looping around the buttocks, the edge looping around the joints. This particular character would look is a little bit too high poly for game, but the general gist of everything that you need is there. All right, that's it for today.